G'day, welcome to Life Done Differently. My name is Ricky Dunn and this video is going to be a little different to what I've done in the past. We've just picked up a new motorhome and we're really excited to take it on the road. We've had an amazing 3 months traveling around Queensland in a camper van, but we've now got the next month to go from here in Karumba Beach, just south of Cairns, all the way to Adelaide. We are going to head west and then south. So we're going to film the journey. I'm going to show you what life is like in the camper van. I'm going to show you the dynamic and incredible landscapes we see along the way and just see what comes of it. So I hope you enjoy. It's time to hit the road. Our adventure was off to a great start as we wound our way through lush rainforests to the Atherton tablelands. This area is home to countless waterfalls, beautiful trails, and the amazing Crater Lakes National Park. It's a popular place for a swim, as long as you don't mind a freshwater croc or two. We spent some time here a month earlier, and as tempted as we were to hang around, we had a lot of ground to cover. So the next day, we started our journey west towards Karumba. Nat would need internet most mornings for her tutoring business, so we planned to stop somewhere along the way where the mobile data was fast enough for her to work. That scenery surpassed all expectations. While it might look desolate in spots, it was a unique landscape that we loved driving through. Got very hot as well, up to 45 degrees. It's very bright here. You want to make sure you have your sunglasses. We stayed at a caravan park opposite the beach and enjoyed many walks to appreciate this laid-back little town and the surrounding area where the Outback meets the sea. Eating the locally caught seafood while watching the sun go down over the Gulf of Carpentaria is a must-do in our opinion, and the area is known as the prawn capital of Australia, as well as being renowned for great fishing. Nat's work had finished for the week, so after a great couple of days, it was time to head south in the direction of Mount Isa. A long but spectacular day on the road as we drove past termite mounds and navigated the at times single lane highway led us to a free camping spot in Cloncurry called Clem-Walton Park. We stayed here 2 nights, off the grid except for 1 bar of signal if Nat held the phone in just the right spot, so I could at least get my Twitter feed. We were self-contained within our motorhome, by the water, and barely saw another person. We spent our time cooking up some seafood we grabbed in Karumba, playing Nat's favourite card game, Monopoly Deal, and enjoying breathtaking hikes. We then made our way to Mount Isa. We planned to stay here for a few days, but stupidly we left the motorhome door unlocked overnight and were robbed while sleeping. They got Nat's handbag and some cash. The police were really good. They actually fingerprinted the motorhome and later actually found the kids who did it. We decided we wanted a change of scenery and made our way to the border town of Camberwell. We spent a night here, Nat tutored the following morning, and then we made our way to the Northern Territory. After signing some COVID paperwork for the feds, we resumed the 5-hour drive to Australia's last gold rush town, Tennant Creek. When we first decided to do this trip, there was one place I really wanted to visit, and that was here. So after a couple of days in Tennant Creek, we opted for another weekend off the grid and parked the motorhome in a little spot beside these granite boulders. We put the awning out and spent our days relaxing and roaming around these geological marvels. Also known as Karlu Karlu, this is a sacred place to the Aboriginal people and was a meeting point for local tribes. It's also a great place for photographers. Doesn't matter what you use, the colours here make everything look amazing. This did not disappoint, and I can't recommend a visit enough. But it was time for us to head down to Alice Springs. We were almost 2 weeks into our trip when we arrived in Alice Springs. We appreciated being in a town with options to eat out, supermarkets, and some good coffee. There are some lovely spots here, But for me, none beat Anzac Hill. You get great sunsets and a view over the city that's hard to beat. We stayed here longer than intended, as upon arriving I picked up some work, which meant rejigging the itinerary slightly and putting more structure to the next 2 weeks. After almost a week, we were ready to hit the road again, headed out to a region I'd heard rave reviews about, the West MacDonnell Ranges. Our first little stopover, nearby Stanley Chasm. I will never forget our time at Ormiston Gorge. Once again, we were off the grid, self-contained within our great little motorhome, with a cost to the national parks of less than $7 a night. We loved the hiking here, with incredible views that are very hard to beat. After working up a sweat, to go and cool off in the swimming hole without another person in sight was like something out of a movie. Another highlight here was getting some rain and witnessing a rare desert storm. We felt very lucky. The NT had put on quite a show already, and I knew the next stop would be no different. We drove back through the West MacDonnell Ranges on a gloomy morning, but as we approached the Lassiter Highway, the skies cleared and we had one of the most visually dramatic legs of our journey. After 6 hours of driving, we had arrived in the heart of the country. Nat's first visit to Uluru, and boy did it impress. It's so peaceful here at the moment, and I can't imagine there would be a better time to visit. I'd been before, but what I loved about this visit was having our own vehicle and going at our own pace, because there's so much to see. In addition to the 9 kilometres around the rock, you also have Katajuta and the Valley of the Winds walk. Not to mention another 1,300 square kilometres of national park. What made our visit extra special was a rare dust storm. And meeting a little thorny devil, as well as some other wildlife. The motorhome came in really handy. When working, we backed it up to Uluru, giving Nat's students in LA a view of the rock. Meanwhile, my work involved interviewing some people on camera, so having a shower to freshen up when it hit 35 degrees was priceless. Our time in the NT was almost up, but first we wanted to do a 3-hour detour to hike Kings Canyon. Then it was time to head to Adelaide. The pink and green colours as we entered South Australia were unexpected and stunning. We had spent too long in the Northern Territory, and this part of the journey was rather rushed. But we made it to Coober Pedy, the opal mining capital of the world, and spent a couple of days exploring. A highlight was the nearby breakaways. What a spot. We still had a lot of ground to make up, so once again we headed south. Big winds limited the filming, but we passed vast green plains, eerie salt lakes, and rolling hills. Before we knew it, we had arrived in Adelaide. After a month on the road, Adelaide would be our new temporary home, as we reluctantly handed back our home on wheels. If you're still watching, hopefully that means you've enjoyed this video. Gotta say, that was one memorable trip. We're in Adelaide now and we're still reminiscing. I decided to do this video because I wanted to showcase how incredible and diverse the Australian Outback is, and to try and learn a bit more about editing and filmmaking. As you can see, it's pretty amateurish at points. We shot a lot of this on our old smartphones. They're almost 2 years old Samsungs, a GoPro, and this little thing, the DJI Mavic Mini. I think this was the hero. It's an entry-level drone, but I think the footage turned out really, really well. A couple of things I don't think I covered in the video. Firstly, the motorhome was a Maui Cascade. It's actually a 4-berth, so that little dining seated area turns into another bed. It drives beautifully. We couldn't have been happier with what we had. We travelled over October 2020 before it got too hot, and that rain just made it extra special. I've got to say, I don't think the video captured the amount of, well, it definitely didn't capture the amount of wildlife we saw, particularly bird life. So if you ever do this trip, you can expect to see a lot more. We've done almost 8,000 kilometres since we left the Gold Coast in a camper van, and we've chosen to offset our carbon emissions using a website, co2.myclimate.org. 80% of the money goes purely towards projects to make good on that. We've got another adventure in the pipeline, so if you'd like to see the next video, make sure you click subscribe and that little bell so you get notified. Otherwise, just follow us on social media. Finally, if you've got any thoughts or feedback on this, I would love to hear from you. I want to make these better, so shoot us a message or a comment. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye.